In this video, we're going to discuss searching the literature. First, we'll look at where you go to find clinical information on the internet. One of the best places to go if you're looking at drug trials and basically treatment types of studies is the Cochrane Library. The Cochrane Library is a set of reviews that are mostly meta-analyses. A meta-analysis looks at several randomized trials. The authors search the literature, look for randomized trials, select those that meet certain criteria, and compile them into a single specifically formatted document. It's used very extensively in the medical literature and a little less so in the optometric literature. But most drugs that you prescribe will have trials listed in the Cochrane Library. Another thing that we can look at is you can just ask Google or Siri. It's not the best for scholarly articles, but it's good for general questions like, what is chromatic aberration? And then it'll give you various definitions for that. Perhaps the one that I always start with and is a good one is the Google Scholar. And you're going to want to set up your Google Scholar so that it links to the library if you haven't done that already. That's kind of an important thing. We're going to come and talk about that a little more, but first, I just wanted to say let's look at some Google Scholar tips. And these are the ones we're going to just briefly look at. Go into Google Scholar. Let's do myopia. Now, this is giving us a lot of things that aren't really related to the myopia that we're interested. We'll come closer if I force the inclusion of, and I can do a plus sign or an and, but let's say chromatic. Now we get an article, chick eyes compensate for chromatic simulation of hyperopic and myopic defocus. Evidence in the eye uses longitudinal chromatic aberration to guide eye growth. Now, if we look over here, we notice it says get full text article. Now, if you don't set up to a library, you might find that, but it's what we want to do is set our computers up so that we look at the library. So we click on this little guy. We come over to see the gear and click on that. And this is a discussion of our search results. I use, or I have used, EndNote. Now we're going to be using Zotero in this class. That is the library supported reference management database. We're going to talk about that next time. But EndNote, you pay for it. I've used it for years, so that's the one I've got it set up to use. Zotero actually doesn't need to be set up here. You can, these are other reference managers that can do that. We used to have RefWorks at the library, but now it's Zotero. But here, library links. This is the one you want to make sure you get. So click on that, and notice I have Pacific University. You type in this box, Pacific. Whoops, let's try spelling it right. And it gives you all the Pacific schools, and then you just pick Pacific University Library. And then don't forget to come down here and click on Save. All right, so notice when I said myopia, this is a tip I can force chromatic aberration in there. Now let's say I don't want things with chicks, so I go minus chick. So I can get rid of references related to chicks. Another thing, I could look for a word in the title. In title, myopia. And so we get that sort of stuff. We could do all in title, which is going to be myopia and let's say chromatic. So both the words myopia and chromatic have to be in the title. So you could type the entire title's name and only get that article. But if you happen to know one word or two words from the title, but you don't remember the whole thing, that's a way to help you start finding it. Some other things of note here. Look down here, you can see cited by. This is the piece that lets you look at articles that have come out since this article but are related. So if we click on that, we get a list of people who are referring to that article. On the longitudinal, we can see that there are related articles. Now, related articles are articles that would have come either before, maybe after, just kind of a similar keyword search based on the keywords that are associated with the particular article that you're looking at. Notice I have set my Scholar up to import into EndNote, but we'll talk about Zotero and you'll see how to get into that. So another thing you can do is, let's do an author search, Siedlecki. Siedlecki, and notice it's Siedlecki D. So if we do that, we get, maybe it was P, but there's a W. We don't want that guy. So let's go up here. Oh, sorry. It's author, colon, Siedlecki. And getting worried that I read that first letter wrong. D. You can add the initials to narrow it down. Oh, it was D. And so now we only get that guy, not all the other people. So that's pretty much, all right, so that's it. This is an image that will be referenced in the Moodle quiz related to this lecture. You're going to answer the question of what is this stuff in here. You'll do that by searching the internet. All right, that's it. Thank you. Till next time.